Hey guys, it's Michelle, the Tupperware lady. I hope you want to cook with me today. It has been a hot minute since I've gone live in here. So, I'm getting ready to make supper, and I'm going to show you what I always do. And I actually remembered to get the camera going before I started so you can see it. So, if you've been with me for any length of time at all, you know I am all about meal prep. Some of us meal prep because it's just easier with a busy schedule. It's easier with the kids. It's easier when you're going to work, sports, whatever. I do it because you all know I work from home. I got some health issues. It is very convenient to have a meal out in the freezer for days that I don't feel good and I can't cook. So what I do is when I am making a casserole, I make 2 casseroles and 1 goes in the freezer. Let me show you what I'm doing though for tonight. So first of all, when I say 1 goes in the freezer, 1 goes in the freezer. So if I typically would do a 9x13 pan, I would make 1 9x13 pan, and then I would assemble the second one in the large shallow FreezerMates because, check it out, it's going to fit. So when I'm ready to cook, when I'm ready to bake it, I'm going to take my frozen block of casserole, wiggle, 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 unload it onto the cover, and right into the 9x13 pan it goes. And guys, you can do that with any of our FreezerMates. Because my husband and I are empty nesters, typically it's just the 2 of us. My son, he has this for his address, but he's not often home. But if he is, then I will typically only need, 2 servings for Paul and I, or 3 servings if Kevin's going to eat with us. So for us, for Paul and I, my little 2-quart casserole is perfectly fine. So this casserole that I'm making tonight, it's going to make 2 8x10 casseroles, right? So because I'm doubling it. So I'm going to have a little 2-quart and 3 more of my medium shallows. Look at this. I'm going to be able to do the exact same thing. I am going to freeze however many I get out of it. I'm hoping to get 3. I'm going to freeze my casserole in here. When it is frozen and I'm ready to use it, I'm going to wiggle, 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 take the cover off, and plop it right into my casserole dish. And you guys, I do this all the time. It does not take any more time at all to make a second casserole at the same time that it does one. So here we go. First of all, this is just called a Fiesta chicken casserole. So I've got some onions that I've just already softened up in here. This is a FreezerMate. This is a small shallow full of corn that I had froze. And it had, the recipe actually said to saute it. I don't know why. I have no clue why. I'm assuming just to get the ice crystals off. Yeah, I don't care. So I'm just I'm just putting it in the pan with the onions just to warm it up. And then just so that you can see everything that's going on, I am going to, and for my ease of mixing, I'm going to mix everything in a Vasa bowl just because it's easy for me. Dump the onions and the corn into the Vasa bowl. And when I tell you guys that my Vasa bowls get a whole lot of use, I'm not kidding. Okay. So there I've got onions, I've got corn. Excuse me while I run to the sink. This in here is 2 cans of black beans and 2 cans of diced tomatoes. They both needed to be drained. So I just drain them together. Into the pot it goes. 2 cups of cooked rice. And now you guys all know I'm not a measuring type person. This is my 2-cup Vasa bowl. I just filled it with leftover rice. Voila, there's 2 cups of rice. If you are measuring, go right ahead. Not me. So here's my thing. Of course it's cold, I've got to break it up now. Baking is a science. Cooking isn't. I can fudge a little bit on measurements with cooking. Okay, so there is my 2 cups of rice. Let's get all my spices in here. And you guys, I will absolutely post this recipe down in the bottom in the comments. It's not there yet. Don't look for it yet. Unless you're coming back to watch it on replay, then it will be. So, oh gosh, does that smell good. Basically, those spices was chili powder, paprika, garlic, salt, pepper. That might have been it. Okie doke. So that's all sort of kind of mixed up. This, I actually had some chicken drumsticks that were out in the freezer, and they were just a little bit tougher, bigger than what we liked. So I turned them into chicken broth and then pulled the meat off of it. And I've got about a quart. This is our Crystal Wave rectangle. It holds a quart. So I've got about a quart of chicken drumstick meat already cooked, beautifully tender now that I pressure cooked it. So that's going to go in there. Should have got everything out a little bit sooner, just so that it was easier to mix, just to warm it up a bit. Get all my chicken in there. There we go. This is sour cream and or plain Greek fat yogurt, whichever you use. Mine's a mix of the two. Whatever you have. And then, what's casserole without cheese? I have got about 4 cups of cheese here. This is a mix of Monterey Jack, mozzarella, and I didn't have quite enough Monterey Jack to make it half and half, so I threw in a couple handfuls of Colby as well. So I'm going to put in about half of the cheese. I'm going to leave half of it for topping. So there's that. And now we're just going to mix it all up. And I probably am not going to talk a whole lot while I mix, just because, you know, sometimes I have to breathe. So I hope you guys are enjoying this July 1st weather. I probably should have got the bigger fix and mix bowl, or excuse me, the bigger batsa bowl, shouldn't I have? Oh well, it's working. It's working. I might have lost the bean. Get everything all mixed up. I'm kind of trying to turn it to you. She's not the prettiest casserole in the world, but she smells delicious. And you know that that's the paprika and the cumin that's making her not so pretty. And probably the black beans as well. There we go. She's all mixed up. Got everything warmed up a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I've got my casserole dish, my 2-quart casserole dish that I'm going to use for supper. And then I've got 3 of my medium shallow FreezerMates. Let's get them all out. And just to make sure everything is pretty even, I'm going to use a ladle to scoop just to make sure that everything is relatively equal. Because we don't want any meal getting shorted, right? Right. So, here's 2 scoops for you. Here's 2 scoops for you. 1, 2. Who else out there is an empty nester and cooks for small amounts? Maybe you're just cooking for yourself. Like I say, most of the time, like for lunch, if it's just Paul and I, we will have like 2 servings, and then this will make like 4 servings for us. Probably make like 3 large, to tell the truth. 1 for me. Yeah, okay, so here, tell the truth. It's going to make like 1 normal size serving for me, and then a very large serving for my husband. And that works. All right, how's everybody look? This one needs a fraction more. This one needs a fraction more. That one had a big piece of chicken in it. And just get the very last bit out. And do you see how fast that is? Look at how quick. I just made 4 casseroles. And like I said, if you've got the larger family, you're going to put this in a 9 by by 13 pan instead. You would pour half of it into a 9 by 13 pan and put the other half in the large shallow FreezerMates, and there you've got a casserole for later, one for supper tonight and one for later. I've got one for supper tonight and three for later. Once upon a time, we fed up to 9 people. There was the 5 of us, plus my father-in-law, plus at one time we had 4 other people living with us. So trust me when I tell you, I know all about cooking in large amounts. Most of the time, though, it was just cooking for 6, the 5 of us plus my father-in-law. Now it's cooking for 3. It's a big difference. It's kind of funny, it makes me giggle, like when I go to put these out in the freezer and I'm about to have 3 meals to put in the freezer just this quickly. It's going to be like, wow, how'd that happen? All right. So, now, I can hear some of you, and I truly can, because this is only about half, 2/3 full. I can hear some of you saying, that's not enough to feed us, you guys. It's a casserole. Make yourself some biscuits, make yourself some salad, whatever. This is going to be plenty for us for lunch. So I'm very, very happy with it. Very happy with it. Let's put my seals on my FreezerMates. Just like any Tupperware container, you are going to burp the air out of it. What have I done? Hang on. Oh, this is my new one. Hang on. I didn't air it. We'll come back to that one. So yes, guys, even the Tupperware ladies sometimes have to marry my containers and my seals. That one went on nicely. Burp it. Get all the extra air out. How many of you would do this but would use like an aluminum foil pan? Once upon a time, that was me. Have you ever added up how much the aluminum foil pans cost? Have you ever tried to look for just the right size aluminum foil pan? I'm going to have to go, oh no, there we go. No. You guys, I didn't marry my Tupperware. Real life in the Tupper kitchen. Hang on. Shoot. Nope. We're going to leave that one. And I will go get a different seal and put on it, and it'll be perfectly fine. But let's go back to the aluminum foil pan. The aluminum foil pan, I would need something very, very small for this. They don't often make them. I'd end up like with a pie-shaped one, you know, a round one, and then I would have like dead space in my freezer, and I don't like that at all. Or aluminum foil, guys. We're trying to, we discovered that we're a little bit sensitive to aluminum, so we've worked really, really hard to eliminate aluminum out of our house. So I don't want to use aluminum. I don't use aluminum foil pans. So these are wonderful. I used to buy them. I can go back and look in my Amazon history and find years ago all the big stacks of aluminum foil pans I used to get. And one day I actually did that and added up everything that I spent, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have bought, you know, the starter set and had been reusing them over and over and over and over again. So guys, that is my suggestion to you. Get yourself some FreezerMates. We are ditching the disposables. We are not putting anything yucky in our bodies. Ditch the disposables, use your FreezerMates. Let's do some meal prep. Get some food in the freezer. Marry your Tupperware when it comes in. You guys have a great day.